Hey, welcome back to another episode of LLC with me, David Wintzer. It's another beautiful day, another lesson to be learned, another opportunity to grow because we're all here just trying to get through this day-to-day life, this thing we call life. And if we can just share some of the losses we have, share some of the mistakes we made, share some of the lessons we've learned along the way, it's of my belief that that's how we're going to grow, that's how we're going to get better, that's how we're going to become just better at life and what we do. And I'm a person that's always listening to self-help podcasts. I'm always trying to pull little things out of these conversations, even if it's not like a self-help podcast per se. But anytime I'm hearing a story about an athlete, someone that's done just incredible things in business, even if it's a psychologist, anyone that's done any kind of thing of magnitude is someone that I'm always trying to process and understand what they're saying and how can I incorporate it into my own life, whether it's with my relationship with my family, whether it's my relationship with myself, my business, my health, whatever it is. So I'm constantly on this pursuit just to get better. And that's what life is all about, in my opinion. Life is about growing. It's about getting better. It's about finding ways just to improve. And improve could be anything. It doesn't need to be on a financial scale. It doesn't need to be on like a fitness scale. It could just be like making progress towards a hobby that you like. If you want to try playing the guitar, learning Spanish, fencing, art, whatever, and you've always wanted to do it, you want to get into like clay pottery, throwing clay pots or whatever, sign up for a local art class. Those are the things, those are the pursuits, those are the growths that we seek out in life that actually bring us the fulfillment that we're actually looking for. Because at the end of the day, we're just looking for fulfillment. Tony Robbins says, a life without success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. So trying to get fulfilled in that life. That being said, I was listening to an episode of The Diary of a CEO the other day, and he had Mr. Beast on. For those of you that don't know who Mr. Beast is the number one YouTuber in the world. But, as I started listening to this wasn't by accident. This was absolutely crafted from day one. He was 11 years old, and he said, I want to be a professional YouTuber. That's what I want to do. I want to become the biggest YouTuber in the world. And first off, one thing that he said that really stuck with me was everybody is going to get made fun of in the beginning. When you're in the beginning of doing something like this, like i.e. I'm making this podcast right now, no one's listening. I don't have any really followers. I mean, I have some followers, but it's still early on. People are going to make fun of me and be like, what is David doing? Like, why is he out here spending all this time making these videos, doing this shit every single day when he could be building houses, he could be doing something else? Like, why is he spending all this time making videos? These videos are stupid. No one's going to watch these videos. Why is he giving people construction advice? Why is he doing this? It's a silly, stupid pursuit, and he was getting bullied and all this stuff when he was 11 years old. But when you become when people are actually following you and you're becoming someone that people are listening to, all of a sudden you're doing great things. You're a leader. You're setting the standard. Well, it's okay for him to do it. He has 1 million followers. Well, he had to get 1 million followers by pressing record for the first time. So he was recording at 11 years old, him playing Minecraft. And he said all the kids at his school made fun of him. That's all he wanted to do. And it wasn't until he shifted his friend group, he started hanging out with people that actually understood it, that all they wanted to do was make YouTube videos as well. And they all became just obsessed with making YouTube videos. That's when it really started taking off for him, because he was surrounded by people that had like-minded interests versus the other kids out there playing sports saying, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, all you do is talk about YouTube. It's annoying. You don't even have followers. You have like 100 followers. Quit being so obsessed with it. But the reality is, to get to the top, to stay on top, he was alluding to, like, the treadmill never stops. He said, I am on this treadmill, and the bigger I get, the faster the treadmill goes. And I can't get off the treadmill. If I want to keep this game going, the treadmill never stops. It only gets faster. And he was talking about that he was so single-mindedly focused on this one goal that he obsessed over it, that he said, I mean, now this isn't for everyone. I don't want to do this. I'm not going to do this. But this is what it takes to get to number one. If you want to be number one at something, this is what it takes. I mean, if you're listening to the Kobe stories, the Tom Brady stories, the Tiger stories, their focus and their success was based on a single mind goal, and that was just winning and putting in the work. And he said he remembered times where he would be on an 18-hour phone call literally an 18-hour phone call discussing YouTube strategy, only to find out that he was going to bed and he'd wake up and be on the exact same phone call for another 18 hours. It was a relentless pursuit. It was an obsession with him, but he put all that time into it. And here's some crazy stats about Mr. Beast really quick. So he has over 365 million YouTube subscribers, 73 total billion views. That's like 10 times the population. So it's basically like everyone on planet Earth has seen one of his videos 10 times. Everyone on planet Earth. That's an insane thing. Then he just came out with the Beast Games on Amazon Prime. I don't even know what the Beast Games is. It's like a game show, I guess it is. But it's a $100 million production. Has 50 million viewers in 25 days. This is on an Amazon Prime. This isn't on YouTube. This was a strategic move for him in business to start the Beast Games. Then he started Feastables, Beast Burger, and beyond. He's got a lot of things going on. What builders and contractors and entrepreneurs can learn from scaling at this level is so much. What this episode that I was listening to with Mr. Beast taught me was simply that you're not alone. We're all learning in this game of business. We're learning every single day what needs to happen, and it doesn't matter how big you get. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to learn if you listen to other episodes, if you listen to what other people are talking. I wasn't just hearing the success story that he was talking about. I was listening to all the failures, all the effort he put in, all the time and energy. And it was a lot. And I was like, okay, like to be number one, like that's never been my pursuit. And I'm not going to try to pursue that. But let's say I wanted to be number one in YouTube or podcasting. I wanted to be Joe Rogan or something. In order to be number one, he had to put relentless pursuit. His single focus since he was 11 years old, he's 26. So for 25 years, is that right? No, 15 years. For 15 years, he has been so singularly focused on being the number one YouTuber. 15 years he's been putting in this effort. Then this effort got so big, he had the Amazon Prime, but then he started Feastables. Feastables was a chocolate company. So like any entrepreneur, how can I expand my brand? How can I expand my market? How can I do something new and different that I haven't done before? What's intriguing to me? So he got into chocolate. This is what really struck with me, because listening to him talk about this chocolate business and understanding what went into it and all the lessons learned, he learned along the way, and he's still learning them. So this is incredible. So a couple things. One, when Feastables came out, whatever city he was in, he's traveling 250 days a year. So whatever city he's in doing something, he hops in the car and he drives to Walmart and he goes and looks at all the packaging. He looks and makes sure everything's sitting on the shelves. He makes sure everything's looking good. If there's any kids there, if there's anything, he'll sign autographs. He'll do stuff. He's out there promoting his product. He doesn't need to go to Walmart. His product's in Walmart. He could hire people to go in and make sure his products are good. There's people like secret shoppers. You can go in and you can pay these individuals to go in and make sure your products are displayed correctly on the shelves, to make sure that everything's going the way you intended it to go. This guy's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and this business of his is doing hundreds of millions of dollars. This chocolate company, and he's still going and doing this stuff. So his obsession with making sure that the product looks right was one thing that stood out to me. The second thing was all the lessons he's learned along the way. Now, mind you, this guy has 500 to 750 employees in the production business and in the Feastable chocolate business. So when you're someone of this caliber, you have hundreds of millions of dollars, and 350 million viewers just on YouTube. I bet over every platform, he's close to 1 billion. So like 1/7, 1/8, whatever of the population knows who this guy is. That is insane. A kid in Africa knows who Mr. Beast is, because if they have access to the internet, they probably have access to his videos. So he's that popular. So because of that, he has so much pull. He could go to anybody in the world, literally anybody, and say, and hire and get resources. For someone to say, oh, I worked on Mr. Beast's team, is a great resume builder for them if they want to work with him for 5-10 years and then go on somewhere else. That's a great resume builder for them. So he has access to individuals that have done great things in the food industry, the candy industry, the grocery industry, the retail business. He has access to all these people. So when he came up with this chocolate bar, he said, we wanted it to be smooth. We wanted this chocolate bar to be completely smooth, and is going to look, and he goes, but there's a reason that chocolate bars have these little grooves and cuts and lines in them. When you snap the chocolate off, you can get like one little individual piece. Theirs was just one bar. And he said, there's a reason for it. If someone drops it, i.e. the packaging company drops it, the delivery guy drops it, the person putting it on the shelf drops it, or a kid in the supermarket drops it. If they drop that chocolate bar, if it has those lines, it's going to be a clean break. You may only, break off the top fifth of the bar. But his was one straight chocolate bar. So when you drop that, it's glass and it just shatters. So what was happening is when the end user, i.e. you and me, went to the checkout aisle, got this candy bar and opened it up, it was shattered into thousands of pieces. So that was our customer experience. And it'd be different if it was like one bar that you got that, but it was every single bar people were getting. These were all the reviews. It sucks. It's just shattered. It's always in pieces. So it wasn't a good customer experience. No one wants to open up a chocolate bar and have 50 pieces you got to work through. It's falling all over your car. It just sucks. So he realized that you had to have those lines in the chocolate bars. No one was there to tell him that. No one was able to explain that to him from day one. The second thing he learned about was that you have to hire a packaging engineer. Now, I could have told you that, Mr. Beast, because I was in the food industry. I understand that there's packaging engineers. There's ways that your package can sit on the shelf better than the other company. There's ways that the package is going to function better than any other company. We were in the baking aisle. So, what kind of package do we have? Did it have to have that little zipper thing on it? So when you open it up and you reuse it, pancake mix, you're going to close it back up and put it back on your pantry. Or you're going to be able to get a measuring cup inside that zipper pouch. Like, these are all the things that a packaging engineer will help us with. So he has his box of chocolates. So, you can imagine that there's like 10 chocolate bars stacked up vertically. So when it sits on the shelf, you're staring at the package. So they have those things. And then when you rip off the top, they're all sitting there. The problem was with his package was when you take one out, they all fall forward. But they would all fall forward and fall flat on their face. So now you couldn't see the branding anymore. Now you couldn't see the chocolate bar anymore. So you were hopeful that the little cardboard box displayed enough. So what they learned from this packaging engineer after multiple iterations of this product was he had to have little wings on his package. So the front of the package had these little, wings that came in and stopped it. So when that chocolate bar fell forward off the shelf, it fell towards you, it wouldn't fall flat on its face. Those little wings that came in would stop the bar. So you could still get your hand in there, grab the chocolate bar, but it stopped the bar from falling flat on its face. This was a packaging engineer letting him know how that this product is going to continue to stay displayed. Even when people buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chocolate bars and they start falling, they're going to fall and hit that wing. And so then therefore it's still standing upright. You can still see the logo, you can still see the label, and you still have good product presence on that grocery store shelf. These are all the things that he was learning along the way. This cost him a ton of money. As he was learning this stuff, as his chocolate bars were smashing and getting fucked up, he paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. Hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. He would pay people around the country to go in and buy his chocolate bars and get them off the shelves so they weren't displayed and looking like shit. So he paid these people hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. They bought the product that he owned. So he was losing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars every single day to get all these products off the shelf, all these products that had shattered because they didn't have the right chocolate. So as they're coming out with the new chocolate line, with the new chocolate bars with the lines and stuff, he had lost millions and millions of dollars to get that off the shelf so he get the right product on the shelf. Now, once again, this is a guy who has access to anyone he wants. He could call the CEO of any company and say, hey, I'm recruiting you to come work for my team. I'm going to pay you $1 million a year. He has that kind of payroll. He has that kind of access. He has the ability to bring these individuals into his company. And I'm sure he was coached and mentored by some of these individuals. And yet they still lost millions of dollars taking off the shattered chocolate bar off the grocery store shelves so they get the better one on. Redesign the product, redesign the packaging, relaunching it to the grocery stores. This was a huge lesson learned by him. And what all this kind of taught me was, hey man, you're not alone. Business is undefeated. It doesn't matter if you're Mr. Beast. Literally number one. The number one guy in the world. access to all this stuff. And he said it right there. Like, I realized how much I didn't know about business. I realized how much more I had to learn. Here he is, so successful in his own lane, his own medium of entertainment, of social, of online presence, YouTube videos for content creation. And now we start in a food business, and he realized how little he knew about business. That was his lesson learned, and he had so much more to learn about this. It's a lesson for any business owner that no matter how much expertise you have, details matter. The little wings on the package, the little slits in the thing. Another thing he learned was like most of his packaging looked the same. So no one knew what the different flavors were. So he's changing the colors so the little tabs on them are different colors. So you know that the red one's dark chocolate, the blue one's milk chocolate, the green one is almonds, the yellow one is toffee. These are things, once again, I knew this because I was in the food industry forever. Yeah, you need to color coordinate things so people know what color represents what type of product. But this is the lessons that I learned along the way in the grocery business. This is the lessons he's learned along the way in the grocery business. So another thing that stood out to me about this interview was how challenging of a road he was headed down. But he said, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to do it the best way I can. And God forbid that I go into a business like this just to make business or just to make money. So a crazy stat was most chocolate, 50 to 80% of the world's chocolate is farmed using child labor. 50 to 80%. So if you're eating chocolate, it's over a 50% chance that chocolate you're eating, a child farmed that. Child labor, child slavery farmed that, getting paid like $1 a day. So Mr. Beast went to all the big chocolate companies in the country. He wouldn't label who they were, but I mean, we all know who they are. And he said, hey, can we source this ethically? Can we do this? And they said, no way. There's no way you can do it. We're not going to do it. It's cheaper this way. We're going to kill our margins. And two, this is how it works, kid. Sorry, that's how it works. It's going to cost a lot more, and it's virtually impossible. And he was like, are you kidding me? So he said, fuck that. And everybody was like, dude, you're going to go out of business. This is the way it works. Don't come into the chocolate business and tell us that you're going to source it differently than us. And he's like, there's got to be a better way. And they're like, there's not, kid. This is how it works. Like, get on board or shut up. And he said, this isn't for me. I'm not going to do this. So he said, I'm going to build a business with purpose, with integrity, with a mission. And I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to accept what these companies have done. He's taken the whole chocolate industry and he's trying to shake it up. This guy that's new in business, doesn't know about the slots that need to be in the chocolate bar so it doesn't shatter, doesn't know about the package engineering, doesn't know about all these little things in business in the chocolate industry, and the big dogs are just saying, hey, sit back, kid. Why don't you just sit back there? You have 353 million YouTube subscribers. This chocolate bar is going to fly off the shelf. You're already making hundreds of millions of dollars doing it. Make your margins better. This is how it's sourced. Shut the fuck up and just keep moving. And he's not taking that for an answer. He's saying, no, I'd rather make less money, and I want to make sure that I am changing the way that this chocolate is harvested. This chocolate is farmed. These cacao beans are farmed off of adults at a living wage, not off children making no money. He's shaking it all up. He's doing it differently than everyone else, and he's learning along the way. And what this really resonated with me was there's no easy path. This guy is taking the hardest path possible. He's going against the grain of an industry that's been operating a certain way for 50 plus years. And he's saying, I'm not going to accept that as an answer. So he's taking the path of most resistance. He's saying, I'm going to go down this road and it's going to be more difficult than anyone anticipated, and I'm not going to source it from the individuals that can just give me the chocolate tomorrow. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go the different route. And he's learning so millions of dollars worth of lessons when he has access to anybody he wants. It shows the difficulty of entrepreneurship. It shows the difficulty of this game, that business is going to be undefeated no matter what. Because There's so many unknowns. The importance of the iteration. You'll never get it right the first time. You can't. You've never done it before. That's why business is undefeated, because every single level you get to, you can have mentorship. You can have people tell you what to do. You can have individuals come into your company. You can hire people that can help blanket you from certain situations and make the opportunity to make less mistakes, have the opportunity to make less mistakes. But every single level you get to, there's a new challenge, something new that you haven't done before. And you're never going to get it right the first time. You get lucky a couple times, but things are just going to come up. It's going to happen. That is business. That's entrepreneurship. So once again, what do you need to do from that? You know, as I'm listening to Mr. Beast, like he just pivoted. He's like, okay, like our chocolate bars are shattering. I'm not going to freak out about that. Like rather than leave it all on the shelves and be like, whatever, like, and have all these kids have this shitty chocolate bar and be like, well, we'll sell out and then we'll figure it out. No, I'm going to go buy that chocolate back. I'm going to lose millions of dollars buying all that chocolate back so I can get the right product on the shelf, because my customer experience is more important than that. I don't want these little kids and moms to say, this chocolate sucks. My kid opened it up. It was shattered all over. It got all over the car. It melted everywhere, and I'll never buy this chocolate bar again. He said, I'm not going to let anybody have that experience. I'm going to get this chocolate off the shelves now. So he's learning from mistakes. And whether it's a chocolate bar, a $100 million company, or a $10 million build and home, you have to learn from your mistakes, and those mistakes come at scale. So you're doing a remodel right now. You're starting a small business right now. You're going to have small mistakes. In your world, they're big mistakes. They could take you out of business. But then, you know, that's if you're doing remodels right now and you have a $25,000 mistake, that could take you out of business. You're building a $10 million home and you have a $25,000 mistake. It doesn't hurt as much, but it's a lesson. You're building a $10 million home and you have a $250,000 mistake. That's a big-ass lesson. You're building a $100 million home and you have a $25 million mistake, a $2.5 million mistake. That's a big mistake. You learn from your mistakes at scale. The other thing I really captured from Mr. Beast was he outworks his competition. He didn't become number one by being lucky. He outworked his competition. And he said, I love what I do, and I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to continue to make content because I obsess over it. He obsesses over the thumbnail. He said that they would have 12-hour meetings about the thumbnail for the project. They would split test it. They'd send it out to peer reviews for the thumbnail. They'd spend 12 hours on a thumbnail. I spend 12 seconds on my thumbnails. That's the difference between me, who has 0 followers, 0 subscribers, 0 people listening, and someone who has the entire world watching his content. If your product or service sucks, customers will notice. So this was a lesson for me. I don't really have anyone watching, but if I'm not making good content, I just got this camera. I just got this background. I just got these lights. I'm trying to make better content because I realize that's what the audience wants. One, I have to provide value in all the content I'm giving. I actually have to provide things of value. I can't just be making, cool videos with lasers and lights and being like, check out my big ass home. Check. No, I actually have to provide value. I have to give you something that you're going to want to come back for. So he's out there solving real world problems. He's doing what he needs to do. So if your product, your service, if it sucks, customers will notice. That's why they spend 12 hours on a thumbnail, because that's the difference of 100 million views versus 50 million views. That's the difference. And when they don't perform like that, you and I may be like, oh, whatever. So your video got 50 million views versus 100 million views. That's revenue for someone of that scale. That's millions and millions of dollars lost for them if that video performs at half. And we may be like, oh, poor him. Well, guess what? He's got a payroll of 500 plus people. So when those videos perform at 50 million views versus 100 million views because the thumbnail was incorrect, the hook was incorrect, that's millions of dollars. They may have to lay some people off if they have a handful of videos that keep performing at that. They have built this level of content creation. They've built this company at a scale that they expect it to perform at this level. And if it doesn't, that's sales. And if you don't perform the sales and you're not making the revenue you anticipated on your books, on your cash flow projections, you can't make payroll. You're going to have to let some people go. The details matter. The thumbnail matters. The blueprint for building something massive like a Mr. Beast, you have to master your craft. You have to master your craft like your life depends on it. Now, I know that sounds dramatic, but if you want the thing that you're working on to go, if you want your construction business to grow, everybody has their own goals. Like if you want to work, enough to make a couple $100,000 a year, so you can go to every kid's sports game, you can go on vacations, a couple $100,000 a year is all you need to survive for the rest of your life, and you're happy, that's your goal. But if you want to scale this company and grow it to something where you can sell it, shut it down, give it to your kid, do something bigger so then you don't have to work, you have to master your craft like your life depended on it, because it does. If this is what you want to do in your life, this is your exit plan, this is your ultimate be-all goal, you have to master it and obsess over it like your life depends on it. You have to obsess over the details, the package engineering, the way people are going to view this product on the shelves. Even billion-dollar brands make simple mistakes. But those simple mistakes stacked up over time make your business fail. You look at bigger companies like a Blockbuster. How the fuck did they not survive? They were $1 billion+ company. They had the whole market. It's because they didn't focus on the details. The individuals at the top. I have a mentor that talks, the details are like that foundation of that house. So you don't put the rebar in all the way. That's a detail. You don't put the chairs up. You let the rebar sit on the ground. Your spacing isn't correctly. You don't have enough PSI in your concrete. That's a detail, whatever. Building the house. House is done. It looks beautiful. It may take 20 years for that house to fall down, but eventually that foundation is going to crack. Let's say Blockbuster was a 20-year-old company. They weren't laying the foundation correctly. They weren't doing the details correctly. So when the inevitable was coming, the tech wave, the market, the way we consumed content, the way we watched videos at home was changing, the individuals in that organization ignored it. There was definitely people saying, hey, people are mailing DVDs to their home. People don't want to leave their home anymore. They're going to start streaming. It's going to be this thing called streaming where you can press a button and watch it on your TV. Nah, that's just a fad, kid. They didn't take it seriously. And when you don't take those little details seriously, you're going to fail. So these big corporations that ignore those details over a long period of time, they stack over a long period of time, they will erode that foundation. They will eventually bring down the whole house. So you have to obsess over the details. Even the billion-dollar brands have to. You always have to adapt and innovate. The second you slow down, you lose relevance. So just the way you get customers, the way you have client reviews, the way you have social media, the way you're landing jobs, the way you're building houses. There's new innovative ways. There's a lot of things coming to construction. There's a lot of new innovations coming to our world. Adapt. Because if you're a drywaller and you're like, I'm not doing a robot, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing these machines, whatever the adaptation is in your craft, and you're like, this will never fly, and there's someone else doing it, and they adapt faster than you, and all of a sudden they can drywall 5 times as fast as you, they can get 500 more employees, and they start taking over your whole town because they've adapted. They're not even working much harder. They just have the efficiency, the innovation. Those little things can take you out. Don't think that you're free from it because you're in construction. People are always going to need labor. You're right, but it's slowly coming our way. Those details matter. The one thing I liked about Mr. Beast was he's not just chasing the money. He's chasing the impact. He's solving real problems. So I started thinking, what kind of problems can I solve? I don't know the answer to it, but Can I serve a mission a little bit deeper than building these homes? And maybe my mission is helping individuals like yourselves learn about business. Like I feel that you are best equipped to help the person you once were. So the individuals that I'm best equipped to help, the individuals listening to this, are the individuals I was last year, the year before, the year before. I can't tell someone how to grow $1 billion company. I can't teach someone how to grow a $100 million company or even a $50 million company because I've never done it before. I can guess. I can give you my advice. I can give you my suggestions, but I'm not talking to you from real world experience. I can only tell you how to remodel a house, how to build a $1 million home, a $2 million home, a $3, $4, $5 million home. I could even tell you how to build a $10 million home, even though we haven't done it. But I can't tell you how to run a $50 million company, a $100 million company. I can give you my suggestions, my predictions, my thoughts, my theories, but I don't have the real world experience. So I'm out here helping the person that I once was. That's where I'm most able to help. So I think that's kind of like my contribution to this industry in addition to building these houses. How can we help this industry grow together? So to be the number one YouTuber in the world, he's like, you're on that treadmill and the treadmill is getting faster and faster and faster. And you have to stay on the treadmill if you're going to stay relevant. So what is your treadmill? What's the thing that's never going to stop, slow down, and demands your absolute best in your business? The taxes, the sales, the branding, the hiring, all those things are the treadmill. They're never going to stop moving. So you got to get obsessed with all those details that are going to continually be there in your business. Whether it's in construction, whether it's in making content like this podcast, whether it's building a business, you either get better or you get left behind. Because your competitors, the smart ones, are going to be focusing on those details and they're going to get better. You're going to get past, you're going to get left behind. My LLC, my lesson learned for today's conversation is, it doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter if you're Mr. Beast. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to learn lessons. Learn those lessons and move forward fast. That was the thing. He pivoted. He said, all right, we're not going to wait till we sell hundreds of thousands of chocolate bars, that have all shattered, and then we'll deal with the problem. Nope. I'm going to spend millions of dollars, get that off the shelf, and get the new product on the shelf now. That's what I'm going to do. You move fast. You adapt fast. But don't get down on yourself for making some mistakes, because those mistakes are just lessons learned. Learn from them, adapt, grow, and move fast. That's all I got. You guys better rate and review this, man. Come on. If you haven't by now, let's go. How do you expect to grow a big business? How do you expect to grow in your construction company, in your entrepreneurial career, if you don't even subscribe and rate and review LLC? Come on. I got this cool neon sign behind me now. Like, why wouldn't you subscribe? Let's go. And for fuck's sake, Tiger Woods is going to be on next week's podcast. This is crazy. This is a childhood dream of mine that, like, the GOAT, T-Dub, Eldrick Woods, 15-time major champion, 3-time amateur champion, 3-time junior champion, three-peat. Just the fucking man, the GOAT, is going to be here on LLC. You heard it first. The first podcast Tiger Woods has ever been on next week. You got to stay tuned. That's all I got. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.